Hi, you're listening to Book Chat with author Vivian E. Moore.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Hi, and welcome to Book Chat. I am your host, author Vivian E. Moore. I hope everyone's having a wonderful weekend. I hope you have a fantastic holiday weekend planned with Memorial Day coming up on Monday. But I just hope for today that you are enjoying your Saturday. Today we have a special guest with us. We have Teuta Metra. She is an Albanian-born writer and journalist, and she will be our guest today on Book Chat with author Vivian E. Moore. I hope you're excited for the show, and I hope you're excited for the conversation that we're about to have. So if you will, let's welcome Teuta Metra to our show today. Welcome, Teuta.
Hi, thank you for having me here.
It's been a while since we booked this interview, and I have been looking so forward to speaking with you because a lot of things have taken place since we booked this interview here in the States. But before we get to that, I want to talk to you a little bit about who you are as a writer, and if you'll just share that information with the audience so they can get a feel for who you are. You have the floor.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
As you mentioned, I am Albanian-born author. I have spent a great deal of my life in Albania. I've been studying there and then working there. Mm-hmm. As a journalist, I've been a radio journalist for a while. Mm-hmm. And then I fall in love with a Dutch guy and I left everything.
Oh.
And moved to the Netherlands, where I'm living now. So my life is a bit between countries. I see myself now.
Okay. And we know that you also have two sons.
Yes, I have two little boys. They are 7 and 4. So my life is quite busy at the moment with the boys and with writing. So, but it's quite nice.
Yeah, it's a good balance.
I enjoy it.
And that's good.
Yes.
You know, that's a perk, especially when you can balance what you do, with your personal life as well. So that's always a good combination. So now that we have a feel of who you are as a mother and a wife, now let's talk a little bit about your career as a writer. I want to talk about your book, Nowhere Girls.
Yes. This is my latest one, so my third book, Nowhere Girls, and it's published in February this year.
Cool.
Yes, it's even the book. It's a bit between Albania and Belgium, not Netherlands this time. So
okay.
I placed one of my characters in Belgium, so otherwise people would think that it was me.
Okay. Well, that was going to be one of my questions, but I want to talk about the friends in this story, Alba, Sarah, and let me think about Ina. And Ina.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit the parts that they play in this story.
Well, what I wanted to, it was all my intention. It was to give a sort of combination of the life of 3 Albanian women. Mm-hmm. So, and to make it sounds more natural and to be more to the point of that, I had to make these 3 women friends, and to give in which one of them to give some what's the struggle they are having there in Albania. So each one of them has something in her. You know, Ina, it's a kind of woman that she has an abused husband. She's having domestic violence because a lot of women in Albania are struggling with this now. So I wanted more to raise the awareness of the readers, of the people that are going to read this book, that what is really going on there with the women. So this is what and then the other one is Sarah, that she has been a journalist and she has been struggling to get a better life in Albania with working two jobs, but she couldn't have a living there because the salary she gets is less than, she cannot pay the rent with that, and she is forced to leave her country. So this is more or less what I wanted to show, how all the struggle these women are having now in Albania, because that's real. That's something that is real, things that is going on.
Okay. Well, you know, I read the synopsis, and I really do want to read the book because it seems very interesting and it's very relatable, which makes me think of, you know, the state of America right now as we speak. The title alone is powerful, and it speaks volumes of where we are on the list of a male-driven society, and how far, you know, we still have to come as women. And on some levels, you know, I can identify with the struggle of women who feel powerless and objectified, you know, overall misogynistic, you know, world of which we live. Now, I know you said that you changed the place of where the story is because you didn't want people to...
Otherwise, it's going to be like, okay, it's her life, it's not my life. No, it's not. Definitely, it's not my life.
No, but it's still relatable, and I think that it's always good that you can pull things, you know, from your own personal experiences and add them to the stories, because it just makes them, you know, that much more interesting when you do things like that. And you know, I was reading about the characters, and I mean, there's so much intrigue going on, and you know, especially with I think it's Sarah, that is like the sneaky one of the trio. She's very smart too, to you know, to have done what she did, but it seems like her and Alba had the stronger relationship. Is that right?
Actually, she has the strongest relationship with Ina.
With Ina, okay.
Because what happens later in the book, she is forced to have this kind of relationship with Alba, because they will be, at the end of the book, it's only Alba and Sarah together. So Ina doesn't, let's say, okay, am I going to tell this now?
Don't tell, because it's still fresh. It's still fresh.
Yeah, so that's the thing that I don't want to say, but Alba and Ina has to be together because they have to do something for Ina. That's the reason why they always... So they are close enough, and then they are apart of each other, but is a kind of destiny. They have to be together at the end of the book to do something for Ina.
Okay. So now we know about the characters in the book and the parts that they play. So how close is this story to, because I know you want to tell the story of, you know, of the struggle of Albanian women. So we know that this story is fictional, but how close is it to, you know, to the real lives of women in Albania and the struggle that they face?
Actually, this is very, very close to the real life. Okay, it's not. There is no Ina. As far as I know, there is no Ina that has this kind of story, but maybe it is, I don't know. But there are a lot of women that has Ina story, you know? So there is, I don't know, an Alba that has this life that she's having in my book, but there are a lot of Albas or a lot of Sarahs. So it's not that their names is just fictional. I chose some names, and to be quite honest, I chose them to be more... For the English people, they could get more easily, because Albanian names are quite difficult to say. So I try to make it a little bit simple for the English world.
Okay.
And but it is really very, very close to the reality.
Okay, and that's why I said that it's relatable, because it is, because right away the names and then the the backstory of what's going on, I'm like, well, that sounds like something that that could take place every day right here. So I can definitely relate to this story. Now, go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead. You were about to say something.
No, I just wanted to say this, that what I wanted to show, it was the life there in Albania, the struggle that they are having there. But I don't know how much do you know about the Albanians, but they are everywhere in the world right now. So what I wanted to show is kind of mix of the Albanian side and then the what they face in the world with the foreign land. They came in Europe, they came to US or UK or everywhere you can find Albanians. So I wanted, if you are a reader and then you are going to read it, then you could relate to that story. Okay, I know an Albanian, but let's look how it's like there. So this is what I wanted to show. I don't know if I have achieved what I wanted, but this will come later with what the readers will think about that.
Right, when they read the book. So do you want to delve into a little history of Albania?
I haven't done it kind of history because it seems to me it's going to be boring for people that really don't know this place, but I try to give now and then some things about the story, but it's not too much, it's just a little bit.
I think it's always especially if it is like Americans or whoever that may be reading the story, sometimes it's helpful when you have a little history about the country, so you know exactly what they're going through. Now I do have not a detailed history of Albania, but just a little bit, just bits and pieces. I don't know anyone personally from the country, but okay. But just to go ahead.
Okay, we have been, for 50 years, we have been living in a communist area, communist system. So it was really bad that time. I don't remember a lot from that time because I have been a child. Because in 1990s, then, with the Berlin Wall fall and everything, the changes that happens in Europe, then it changed in Albania too. So from that time on, we were allowed to move abroad, because until that time we couldn't go, and also the people that live in, abroad, so Americans or whatever they couldn't come to Albania, only if they have a special visa, or I don't know how they call it, so they could enter Albania, but they are also survive under the political party that was there. It's going to control everything, so you are not allowed to talk to the real people. Wow. I mean, to the normal people. You could go only where they wanted you to go. So this was what was happening then. And since 1990, we could move, but not until 2010. Until 2010, we could move, but we could ask for a visa permission or things like that. So it's not a free move, let's say. Okay. So that's just for Albanians in general, for everyone. Yeah, this is in general. Yes, this is more or less in general. But the communism system, it was really bad for us. So I think it's really, even though we are not having anymore that system, but it's the roots of that system. It's really hard to get off it.
Okay. No, I can definitely understand that. But I want to focus on the struggle of women, the Albanian women, because that's the focus of your story. Yes. So now I don't want to turn the show into a political show, but I do want to address a few of the issues women face in your country, and also here in America as well, because today, as we speak, we are revisiting, and I don't know how familiar you are with with America's laws and things of that nature, but we're revisiting court cases, and one very popular one Roe versus Wade. I don't know if you're familiar with that one or not, but basically it's where women are defending their reproductive rights. And in some states, it's in the process of being overturned. And, if women go against these laws, then they face penalties, if they seek abortion. So I want to know, I don't know if Albanian women face the same things as we do here in America, but, what are your opinions on this subject?
I've seen some news about this, but if I have to talk about the Albanian, no, we don't have this kind of, for the abortion thing, we don't have it. So it's for us and for the women there, because I'm not living there anymore. Mm-hmm. It's the struggle they are facing there. It's a society that man has the right to decide for things. You know, it's more it's the man power, the man rule, the man is everywhere. Mm-hmm. So it's not that some women are forced to stay. Not all of them, but you can find I'm not talking about Tirana, because Tirana is the capital of Albania. Mm-hmm. There is different thing, but if you go a little bit far away from Tirana, that you will find this kind of women that I say, these are the women I have in my books. They don't go at the luxury parties, or they don't have this kind of luxury life that maybe you can see in Tirana, but they are really the women that are struggling with the daily life. I mean, daily life. What I mean is they don't have a job, as Ina, for example. So they are only staying at home, raising the children, doing everything, and not thinking for themselves at all, because it's not allowed to do that. I mean, they are so focused on that. You are born only to do this thing, you know. Mm-hmm. And there are some of them that are like Alba, for example. That so this is the way how it's going. If you want to have the power and if you want to have the money, you have to be around rich guys, rich men, which normally are the politician people. So
wow,
it's the only way. Yes. So I don't want to get into the politics.
Well, but it's
this is But this is what's going on. So I mean, Alba knows that if you want to get rich or to have the luxury things that she's having, she must choose for this life. Mm-hmm. If you want to work like Sarah, doing the things the right way, you are going to have nothing. Mm-hmm. This is the struggle. That so even though you are studying and working hard there, you get nothing. But if you have a rich guy that it's on working in the government or this kind of things, then you can have what you want.
Well, I don't see this as being I do see it as being extreme, but it just takes me back, maybe 50, 60 years here in this country. And it may not even be that far removed from present day, where, the struggle for women is very real, whether it's there, in Albania or if it's here in America, especially as far as, of climbing career ladders or having better jobs and things of that nature, and having to depend on, a man to dictate to you, what you can and what you cannot do. We as women here in America, we have progressed, past that point. At least some of us have. And and it always blows my mind when I read about, other countries, and not just Albania, but other countries where, where this still goes on. I read the Bible on a daily basis, and a lot of these stories aren't new to me, because I look at the women during those times. If you didn't have a husband or a man to take care of you, then you had to resort to to a base way of living. And it is what really caught my attention. I haven't even read the book, but just reading the synopsis of Sarah, the role she takes in the story, and the lengths that she goes to have what she wants. And it's almost as if she's being defiant, in what she's doing. And I think I don't see it as being harsh, but I see it as her taking control of her life, because she has dreams, she has ambitions. She may be going about it in the wrong way, but still, she's trying to make things happen in her life. And, I sort of see this book as being sort of like a roadmap for women, not to pursue things the way Sarah pursued them, but perhaps to strengthen them in some way. They can take bits and pieces from her taking control of her life and maybe use it, to empower themselves. So I love this story. How you have just brought these characters to life, in a very realistic way, that everyone who reads it, they can identify with the story in some way. And not to dismiss what you just said, but, these are only a few issues that, that women deal with in society, on a daily basis. I mean, we, like I shared with you, the reproductive rights, how, in some states we're losing, going back, we're going back to the old days when women had to secretly, go and,
yes.
It's crazy.
Yes.
It's so crazy, but still, it isn't new, but it's an age-long issue that is it's long overdue as far as where change is concerned. So, how is this of what's presently taking place redolent of issues in your country as far as women's rights are concerned? Do you see anything changing? Have they made any progress?
Honestly, if I see what they are doing now, there are a lot of organization, if I can say like that,
okay,
that they work on the name of women's rights or protecting the women. But for me, it's just the name of them. It's not that they are really working on protecting them, even the women that they are suffering from domestic violence. So it's this kind of organization. What I have seen is mostly they get the money and they don't really help the people that really need help.
Wow.
So it's not that they have done a lot on what they really have to do, to be honest on this. So or this is my point of view. Maybe I'm a little bit rushed on this, but really this breaks my heart, because now it's almost 30 years that we have crossed that border of being the communist country. We're not that country anymore. So if you want to fix the things and do the things, you can do it. But it's not, okay, I'm having the money, I'm getting the money from European Union, or there are a lot of other organizations from US maybe, or I don't know to mention them. But they just, okay, let's help 5 of them when the number is 100. I know that you cannot help all of them, but at least you could do more to help them. Right.
And it breaks my heart as well, because I don't like hearing about things like this in the news. And like I said, I see them daily here in our own country as well. As far as domestic abuse and things of that nature.
Yes.
It saddens me that that as women, sometimes we seem so not necessarily helpless, but just powerless because of the powers that be. So it's a constant struggle, one that I can sympathize with. What's going on in Albania as well as here in America, because it may not, the things that are happening here may not be as extreme as they are there, but still, they are similar, very similar. Yeah.
This is really heartbreaking. I swear, you cannot imagine now in 2019. You just open the TV, and if you could understand what the news says about Albania, there are at least 2 women that got killed from husband or I don't know, father-in-law, It's not normal because we are only 3 million people. So if you have this is at least 2 women are killed every single day.
Wow.
So,
that is a bit extreme. But, like I said, domestic abuse is not something that's just isolated, to your country or mine. It's everywhere. But it's something that, that needs to come to the attention of everyone. And not just talk about it, but do something about it, because that's crazy, to learn that. Even if it's just one woman that died, as a result of domestic abuse, that's just too many. To me, that's just too many, and something needs to be done to change that there as well as here, But how do we change it? How do we change this for posterity, for the future generations of young women that are being born right now, and will someday grow up in your country as well as mine? What is your opinion on that? How do we go about changing this?
No, we have to speak up for ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
for everything, it's our right to decide, for example, what's going on now in America for abortion. It's women's right to decide about this, not not the law or the government or whatever, in my opinion.
And I agree with you.
It's our right. Yeah, it's our right to decide for this. Who are you deciding what I want to do in my life? So
right.
If we don't speak up for our rights and for ourselves, who is going to do that? Nobody's going to do that for us. So,
right.
And that's what I want to do about my country. I'm going to speak up for those women that don't have a voice. I'm not. I have always said this, that there are some entrepreneurs in Albania that go there and okay, let's have a meeting, Sheraton Hotel. But my women cannot go Sheraton Hotel. They don't know where it is, that kind of hotel. They just they don't know even the name of that. So if you are going to really help these women, you have to go there and talk to them. And but Sheraton Hotel, they go only the women that can manage, that they have a wonderful life, that they are independent, So you are not helping the real one. If we do it, and if we want to help, then give the real one a voice, the one that cannot have these this kind of things.
Yes,
that's what I think. This is my opinion.
Well, I think that what you said, that matters to me, and you are absolutely right. But how do you reach those that are underprivileged? How do you get the message to these women, in a way that they will respond to it?
This is something that. For me, it's not, in a kind of way, I'm just trying to say to them that, look, there is somebody that is giving you a voice. I'm talking for them and writing into books. That's why my books are not in Albanian. And I'm having a struggle with them because I don't write in English myself. And then I have to translate them by translator. So that's the real thing what I wanted to do, to give them a voice, but not in Albania. To give them a voice abroad, to give them a voice everywhere in the world. So the people know about that. Otherwise, I could have done it in Albanian, and it's nothing. You just publish a book, and that's it.
Right.
But no, wait. There is a whole world that now can have the book and can read it and can relate to this story. And this is you raise awareness of what's going on. So this is a kind of things. But then. Yeah, maybe things will change and I can do something more. But for the moment, I'm just focused on giving them a voice abroad. So this is a small country in the Balkans, and this is happening. So maybe this could change something.
I definitely hope so. And I want to read the book, but as you said, it's not in English at the time. So it is in English. Okay.
Yes, that's why I have done it in English. So it's not in Albanian; it's only in English.
Only in English. Good.
Yes.
Good. But now that it is in English, and you said that it's not in Albania, I wish that there was a way that the women of that country could, get their hands on this book and read this story. And like I said, maybe it will strengthen them. Maybe they will find something in it to encourage them, to have a voice, to speak out, and not be so afraid. But I know that sometimes, sometimes as women, and I hate to use this word, we're institutionalized, in our way of thinking, because that's the way it's been for generations. But at some point, there needs to be a change. And we can only hope that it will come with the next generation of young women that will grow up.
I really hope.
Yes.
I really hope.
Yes. Yes. So tell us, how can we get your book? Where can we find your book?
The book is only on Amazon
Cool.
right now. It's
Good.
ebook and paperback.
Good.
So it's funny enough, because this book is only in English, only on Amazon for the English people, and it's not in Albania yet.
Okay.
But I'm working hard to have this book also in Albania. So maybe, in the next months it will be also there. So I'm really working on that.
Okay, well, I think that you're making great strides in making this happen. First of all, publishing it in English, I think that was genius doing that, because you never know. Sometimes help comes from outside sources. So, with this book being available on Amazon, and to me that's the perfect platform for this book, is to put it out there, because everybody knows about Amazon. And do you have a website that you can share with some of the listeners?
Yes, it's my website. That's teutametra.com. It's really hard to pronounce for the English, but it's my name, last name.com. So it's kind of...
Okay. Well, I posted our interview today, the subject on Facebook. I know you're on Twitter. Are you on Facebook?
Yes, I'm on Twitter and on Facebook.
Okay.
On LinkedIn, everywhere, social media. It's now amazing.
I know. Well, they have the spelling of your name, whether they can pronounce it or not. They know. They'll know how to reach out to you, and also how to find your book. Now that you told them that it is available on Amazon in ebook and paperback. And I have so enjoyed speaking with you today, and I hope that we'll get to chat again, because I would like to know the progress of your book and the progress of women's rights in Albania, as it happens. So
thank you very, very much. I really enjoy talking to you too, and for me this is the first time that I do an interview live in English, and it's a bit struggling.
No, it was you did well.
Now my life is in between Albanian, Dutch, English, and sometimes I say, what do I have to say now? What do I have to talk now?
Oh my gosh. But I'm sure you'll master it, because you've mastered English. I didn't have a struggle listening with you, chatting with you. I understood you perfectly. Understood you perfectly. And I wish you great success on your book of Nowhere Girls. I love the title too, by the way. And I can't wait to read the story, because it sounds inspiring, and in every way. I always try to see the positive in every story, and I do see some positives, in just the small amount that I read. But I do wish you much success. I wish you and your family are blessed, and that you just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much, Vivian. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And enjoy the rest of your day, although it is 5:00 there already.
Yes, evening time now with the boys in my house.
Oh, gosh.
So, yes.
Well,
Saturday evening then.
Okay. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening.
Bye.
Bye now. All right, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed our interview today with Teuta Metra. She helped me to learn how to pronounce her name, and I so enjoyed chatting with her. She just sent me a message on Skype. It's always, to me, just amazing to learn about different cultures, and learn about the things that we think here in our country is so far removed from other countries, to discover that truly is not, that we still share a lot of the same issues, and But, I'm not discouraged by it. I am encouraged by the fact that we're not struggling alone as women. And I'm glad that that I was able to have this interview with her today and learn a little about who she is and about her country. And it's so relatable. We're not that different. We may think that we are, but we're not that much different from everybody else, from every other woman that's in the world. Just like they struggle, we struggle too. But I hope that that you will go out and get her book. As she said, it is on Amazon, and you can get it in either ebook or you can get it in paperback. So, and I hope too that you enjoy the rest of your Saturday, the rest of your holiday weekend. I didn't want to keep you for too long, but the conversation was just so interesting. I couldn't let her go until I finished having the just getting a ton of insight, or as much as I possibly could. But anyway, this show is not being taped live, so it will be broadcast at 6 p.m. today, just like it is on every Saturday. And so you'll be able to listen to it then in its fullest. Also, tomorrow is worship day, so I hope you're planning on going to church tomorrow. Take some young folks with you, take some family members and some friends, and most definitely some children. And I was almost about to let you go without telling you how to stay in contact with me. So before I do that, of course, for Spreaker, I am at https://www.spreaker.com/user/author Vivian E. Moore. You can also find me on every social media platform. All you have to do is type in my name, author Vivian E. Moore, and you'll have the link. Or you can go to Spreaker, and the link there will take you to all of my social media accounts. If you do follow my blogs on on BlogSite, there will not be a blog for today because, of course, it was a live interview, so there is no script for today's show. But last week I did not have an interview, so there is a blog out there for last week, and I hope that you will go out there and take a look at it. So before I let you go, remember to tell someone that you love them, and I love you. I hope you love me back. And the next time you hear my voice, God bless you and goodbye.
Loved what you've heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. It would mean the world to us if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and feedback. Spreading the word really is the best way to grow our podcast and achieve even greater things. Thank you.
Thanks for listening.